We had a very good festive season in the fourth quarter of last year, both in Europe and the US, and with a decent quarter. It came also in with the full year according to our guidance. So an 89 billion sales, all in euros, and a margin of 4.1%, a free cash flow of 2.4 billion, and a strong capex, capital expenditure number of 2.4 billion as well. So all over and in line with our guidance, based also on a very decent fourth quarter.
There's a lot in your statement as well, and I know there's a lot of human suffering going on all around the world, and actually supplying food with the oscillation we're seeing in prices is no mean feat, Frans. But in terms of where you're at compared to where you want to be, as inflation just abates somewhat, how far away from the margin of profit on profits are you compared to where you want to be?
Yeah, we gave a guidance for the 2024 year with an at least 4% margin and a free cash flow of 2.3 billion. So that's where we want to be. But at the same time, like you rightfully said, food inflation is tapering down. For a lot of food retailers, we see a hyperinflation 2023, which partly has a reflection on the cost levels, and we see food inflation coming down. So we all have a challenge to build that profitability. That's why we also upped our cost-saving program to more than 1.25 billion euros to deal with this, and that's why we're confident with a 4% margin also for 2024. But again, you talked about human suffering. I think that makes us all very humble. We see that a lot of families and communities are challenged by higher inflation, food prices, interest rates, and these kind of things. So it's our job with all our people to make sure that food is affordable, healthy, and sustainably produced for the families we serve. And we serve per week 63 million people.
Frans, absolutely, and we must never forget how important that is. Look, there are two main aspects, if I can say, about inflation. It's actually the food price inflation and getting that food to your customers, but there's also your employee inflation as well. And I just wanted a little word on that because it's so important, whether it's the BOJ, whether it's the ECB, whether it's the Federal Reserve. I think I'm correct in saying you employ over 400,000 people globally as well. You have an enormous workforce as well. What are the wage pressures like, and are you seeing concerns over wage price spirals?
Yeah, it's of course for us a top priority to be a very good employer, and that's not only for wages but also for benefits like health insurance, pensions, and these kind of things. And that's what we are in every market where we are. It's a top priority for us, and that comes also with making sure that also people have a good living as well. And that's why we saw some inflation on wage inflation both in the US and in Europe. And this is good for our people. And hopefully also will translate in more grocery sales too. But we have to deal with these kind of costs as well also in 2024.
Frans, good morning to you then. The US could argue that the consumer out of the US has actually carried a lot of the growth out of, or the sustainability where we are in the US right now. Would it be fair to say that that hasn't translated necessarily to your expectations out of the United States?
It's a complex environment. We're only on the East Coast with almost $60 billion and have number one and two positions in all the markets where we operate. And of course, food retail is quite a complex business. It's not only about how to make sure that families and communities are properly served with the best affordable prices as well, but also that we run and sustain business at the same time. So and our sustainability agenda is a very good agenda as well, in line with SBTI, Science-Based Targets initiatives, together with a lot of almost 1,000 other companies in our total frame, both manufacturers and retailers. So we have to balance these kind of things because we also would like to make sure that for the next generation there's a good planet available. So it's a balancing act. I think we have been doing a very good job also in the US with a strong margin in the fourth quarter of 5.2%. We are cruising towards a mid-high single-digit e-commerce business also in 2024, and that is what we would like to do. We would like to grow our business. We would like to have omni-channel performance, and that in all our stores. And we took quite some operating model costs out of our e-commerce business to make sure that we can serve our customers also in a very good and decent way, and also that in a same-day and instant type of delivery model.